Hello and good evening. My name is Shelby, and I just want to say thank you for taking your time out of your day to listen to my presentation. So, every person experiences a psychological crisis. So, today I'm going to explain the 8 stages of psychological development based on Erickson's theory. So, my goal is to help you to provide insight into your life now and moving forward. So I'm going to go through the 8 stages, which is obviously a lot of stages, so bear with me. I'm hoping you will learn something new. You might have learned about these in your psychology classes. If so, I'm here to refresh your memory because it's a lot. Stage 1, trust versus mistrust. Stage 2, anonymity versus shame and doubt. Stage 3, initiative versus guilt. Stage 4, industry versus inferiority. Stage 5, identity versus identity confusion. Stage 6, intimacy versus isolation. Stage 7, generativity versus stagnation. Stage 8, integrity versus despair. Okay, the first stage, trust versus mistrust. So Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher, stated, "He who does not trust enough will not be trusted." Well said. The age range of this stage is during intimacy. This occurs when the child is 1 year old. So this stage will determine if the child can trust the people around him or her so that they can start forming relationships. So a positive outcome of this stage would be if the caregivers of the child give him or her love and affection. Then the child will obviously form a sense of trust. If the parents or caregivers do not do this, they do not give their child enough attention or love, then they will form a sense of mistrust. They will not trust anyone around them, probably, for moving forward into their lives with their future, relationships. It could be friendships, romances, teachers, just anyone around them. All right, stage 2. Anonymity versus shame and doubt. Eric Erickson stated that shame makes us self-conscious and affects our self-confidence. The age range of this stage is between 1 to 3 years of age. This also is kind of around the infancy age. During this stage, it is important that the caregivers of the child help to encourage him or her to do certain activities on their own. So a positive outcome of this stage would be if the caregivers of the child encourage them to explore the world around them, and they will become self-sufficient with themselves. If not, then they will begin to doubt their abilities if, the parents don't encourage them. All right, stage 3. Initiative versus guilt. Erickson stated that initiative is a necessary part of every act, and man needs a sense of initiative for whatever he learns and does. So this age range is between 3 to 5 years. This is around, I like to call the preschool years. During this stage is when kids begin to play with one another, and this is when leadership skills are formed. A positive outcome of this stage is if the child is given permission to take lead in certain activities, then they will most likely become a person who has initiative. A negative outcome of this stage is if the child is restricted and is not allowed to play a role in certain activities, and they will develop a sense of guilt. Okay, moving on to stage 4, industry versus inferiority. Sunday Aldaja, a pastor, stated, "Don't be too stereotyped. Be ready to explore new opportunities." So this age range is between 6 to 12 years, the elementary school years. During this stage, kids direct their energy towards mastering knowledge and intellectual skills. So school is very important in this stage. A positive outcome of this stage is that the child is smart, they do well, they make good grades on their tests, and they will feel a sense of accomplishment. If they have trouble in school, like I know I had trouble in school, and they might feel a little unaccomplished, like they can't do anything right. Stage 5. Identity versus identity confusion. Laura, an author, stated, without dignity, identity is erased. The age range of this stage is between 10 to 20 years, which is the adolescent years, which I guess is the stage I'm in right now. So during this stage is where individuals try to find out who they really are and what they want out of life. Goals are established in this stage. We know what we want and what we want to do. So a positive outcome of this stage is if adolescents explore roles in a healthy manner and they follow down a good path, and positive identity will be the outcome. If they don't go down a straight and narrow path, then they might experience identity crisis, like, well, what do I want out of life? I don't know. Stage 6. Intimacy versus isolation. Lauren Oliver, an author, stated, I wonder if this is how people always get close. They heal each other's wounds, they repair the broken skin. Well said. The age range of this stage is 20s to 30s, which is early adulthood. I guess that's the stage I'm about to enter into. Fun. So basically, during this stage is when adults start to form intimate relationships. So a positive outcome of this stage is when young adults form friendships and intimate relationships with a partner, then intimacy will be achieved. If they do not develop healthy relationships, more like toxic relationships, I guess you could say, then they might feel lonely or they might be depressed. You definitely don't want that to happen. All right, stage 7. Generativity versus stagnation. A quote that I love is, everything you've endured and overcome has created the person you are today. So I guess the turmoils you faced happened for a reason, because that's basically who you are now, is what you experienced in the past. So I just love that quote. Okay, so this age range is between the 40s and 50s, middle adulthood. I guess that's the stage my parents are in. During this stage, adulthood is concerned with leaving behind a legacy. Legacy is the main word in this stage. So an outcome, positive outcome, is if the adult feels like they accomplished what they want, what they needed so far in their life, and they helped others along the way, they feel productive. If they have not felt like they left a legacy, maybe they don't feel like they've helped people as much as they could have, then they might feel useless, unaccomplished. Stage 8, integrity versus despair. I found this quote to be very relatable. Never regret if it's good, if it's wonderful. If it's bad, it's an experience. So the age range of this stage is 60s and above. So this is the last and final stage. So late adulthood, yeah. The definition is, this is when a person begins to reflect on the past. They've kind of come to the end of the book, I guess. A positive outcome of this stage is if the person's life review to reveal a life well spent, then integrity will be achieved. If they do not feel like they have achieved everything they could have, or they feel like their life should have been different, then they begin to be regretful. They begin to think back to everything they've done wrong. All right, so we've come to the end. I hope you learned about yourself during my presentation about Erik Erickson's theory. Maybe you can take this information with you moving forward in your life journey. So, as I said, I went through Erik Erickson's 8 stages of psychological development. I first stated the age range of each stage, then the definition, the basic definition, and the outcomes, positive and negative. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with a final quote of Erik Erickson. The more you know yourself, the more patience you have to see in others. Sorry, I forgot to show you the last slide. Okay, and lastly, I would like to give a shout out to study.com and Essentials of Lifespan Development from McGraw-Hill. So I have taken general psychology and developmental psychology, and I am taking abnormal psychology next semester. So I do have a lot of knowledge on these topics. I had to write a whole essay about it. Took me a couple days. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for listening. I know it took a while, but you bared with me. All right, have a great day. And here are my citations.